Hello, 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 hello. Hey, what is up, everybody? Oh, wait, did we get raided? Hey! Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope everything's going very, very well. Oh! Did the notification not go off? Yeah. Well. Oh, you raid? Thank you, thank you, thank you, Psycho. Come get a shout out for Psycho. Let me do a little bit of bum, bum, bum. How was stream? Oh, hey! And wanted to follow and say hi. Well, hello, Wacky Bard. I hope you enjoy your time here. 1 second, chat. Well, we do a little shout out here for Psycho Gamer VT. Hey! Congratulations on winning. Oh, did somebody already shout them out? Sweet. Okay. And because you won, you also get gifted a sub. Congratulations. So, hello. What's everybody been up to today? First off, Karmia. Really? Every single one of them, huh? Every single one of them, huh? You couldn't let anybody have one. No? I can't believe you came in here and immediately grabbed 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let me pause the music real quick so I can think for a second. But yes, hello. But yeah, Gene, I played Dark Souls 3 Convergence mod. What is Convergence mod? And I gotta Google that. Damn it. 1 second. Convergence mod. Alright, the Convergence mod is basically an overhaul mod that changes almost every aspect of the game in different ways, and these changes are not geared towards a specific... What? Really? How? How do you change this much about the game? That sounds insane. Okay. I'm adding it to my list of things to try. You only do it once, I promise, probably, maybe. I have to figure out a way to prevent you, Karmia. I will find a way to do it. You can't stop me. The greed sickens. Oh, necromancy is cool. Just showered after air drying and some light brushing my Pomeranian. You have a Pomeranian? Do you want to bring him by stream? Do you want to bring him by? Do you want to send me pictures of your Pomeranian? They're adorable and fluffy and so cute, and I love them, and they're fantastic. Can I take your dog? Can I have your dog, please? Maybe. Do you not want your dog? I'll take it. I will happily take it. No, but my baby. Look. Every parent has to let go of their child one day, and just let go of your child now. Just give me your child. Yeah, okay. Well, out of context, this might seem bad. But in context, don't worry about it. Don't worry about context. Context is fine. Nobody needs context. It's fine. Never showing my cats. I will take your cats eventually. You're not going to stop me. So each class has their own tomes you find in certain areas, and we'll give you... Oh! That's sick! Okay, I'll have to try it. Don't worry about context. It's fine. Are you still Steal a Puppy? Yes. Give me Eddie. I want everyone who has dogs, give them to me. I don't have a dog. I want it. Give. Gene, can you play the reel for me? Can you play the reel? Oh, the voice demo. Is that what you mean? My demo reel? Yes. Ooh, okay, chat, we're gonna play my demo reel. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, enjoy. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Enjoy. I don't think I'm gonna make it. My legs hurt. Even my brain hurts.
Reversing the polarity will cause a cataclysmic reaction of... turn the dials right. Make device go boom.
I thought I'd left you dead in the desert.
I mean, haunted by ghosts, ain't I? I guess I deserve it.
Good evening, fellow Mad Cats. DJ Fang is ready to spin more records. Coming up next, 12 commercials back to back. My favorite.
You made it. I didn't think you'd come. No one else has. Still, you seriously made my day. We are not taking any more party members. Wait, are you wearing a dead possum as a scarf?
Nah, she ain't dead. She's just scared. The poor sweetie pie.
Please, take a seat. Right here, by my side. Where you can't get away so easily.
I am Nerd. Hear me roar. I can't really roar that well, but I'm trying, okay?
Well, that's what the last guy thought. And you don't want to know what happened to him.
Do not be blinded by fear, my child. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it pass. Remember, only you shall remain in the end.
I'm muted. How is that a femboy voice? You can't call it a femboy voice. How is that femboy? Huh? Explain that. There will be a class for you in convergence. I will definitely try it. I will definitely try it. But thank you, Psycho. Psycho, I hope you had an amazing stream. And hello, Psycho's Raiders. My name's LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, a flirt. And I will be a villain. Well, rank C villain, but you know, that's its own plan. So, but yes, boy failure villain. I mean, yeah, evil gang, laughing all the way to the bank. Evil wizard bunny gang. We love casting spells. Anyways, yeah. Oh, I might actually end up in a voice acting competition soon. That should be a lot of fun. I think. Hopefully. We'll see. I signed up for it. There's 20 slots left in the competition, so hopefully they're like, yeah, Gene, of course you can get into it. And if it goes well, then, you know, I gotta win. That's really my only goal. I don't really want to win the prize. I just want to win. I want somebody else to say I'm good at voice acting. Okay, so, time to chat. You may notice that there's not a schedule. Fine. Okay, so dinner I had. No, that's not important right now. We'll get back to dinner. You may notice that I have not posted a schedule yet for this week. That is because October is going to be a little bit different than most of the months. I'm breaking up each of the, chunks of October into its own kind of thing. Yeah? So I'm going to be posting a schedule starting tomorrow, and each chunk of the month is going to be its own unique theme for the ASMR audios in the morning. We're going to be reading Edgar Allan Poe for 1 month. We're going to be doing Haunted Women for another one. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you're all excited for it. We'll also be doing a lot of horror games, but yes, so it's going to be a special schedule I'll be posting tonight. Yes. Who did you think was going to wear the maid costume? What do you mean? Huh? Dinner I had. No, shush. It's fine. No. Edgar Allan. Okay, so Edgar Allan Poe is going to be like dabbled around the entire time, but the first week is mostly Edgar Allan Poe. We're going to be doing Edgar Allan Poe short stories. We're going to be doing Edgar Allan Poe poems. It's going to be great. Fine. Yes, I will do a bunny costume. Actually, I think I'd look cute in the butt. No, it doesn't matter. So. Why do you want to know what I ate for dinner? Is that important? It was good. I enjoyed it. But do you really care? Do you really want to know? Fine. It was German sausage, onions, apples, rice, curry seasoning with like a cream sauce. Oh, and parsley. There's parsley on it because you need to have something green in your food, right? It doesn't have a name. It's just a bunch of stuff that tastes good together. You know, I like apples in savory dishes. It's very tasty and delicious. And yeah, so I ate that, and there's more for tomorrow. I was supposed to do potatoes, but you can't cook potatoes in 30 minutes, and so I did rice because I already had rice pre-made. Made it very easy. So I cooked all of it in less than 30 minutes, ate it. And then, you know the rest of the story. And the soda. Oh my God, chat. The soda. The janky soda that I had in the... The janky soda that I had in my towel closet that expanded and that you all could hear from like an entire new room away. It tastes good. It tastes good. It is legitimately tasty. It has a little bit of a yeasty flavor because I used too much yeast, but it actually tasted good. Now, oh, it looks awful. It looks awful. What do you mean I didn't? Hey, Aura, I know you're a mod. I know you're a mod, sweetie. But I don't fuck up that often, right? I do. I do. Yeah, no, I probably need to do food coloring because it's like yellow. It's like a weird, like yeasty yellow. But it tastes good if you don't look at it. And it has carbonation. So I took water, I took sugar, I put yeast, and it made a delicious, delicious soda, quotation marks. Now I can add flavoring, whatever, and it should be amazing. I think if I were to have like I have a lime. I have a lime. I can put a lime in it. Oh, it's going to be so cool. Okay. I'm excited. This is going to be great. Lime. Now I need a coconut. I could mix. It does already taste like Sprite. If I put lime in it, it's probably perfect. Oh, well, I mean, think about it. First off, that's water, sugar, and yeast. That is so much cheaper than soda. Plus, did you know Mountain Dew has thickener in it? Let me read the ingredients on Mountain Dew that I'm drinking right now. High fructose corn syrup, which is awful for you, by the way. No. We're going to play something today. I think I want to play Minecraft today because I'm not going to be able to do it much this month. But I need to complain about I need to complain about high fructose corn syrup. It does. And it's better in other countries. But do you know what's insane about sodas? They fill that thing with sugar, so much sugar that you couldn't enjoy it. And then they put an acid in it to make it so that you can tolerate the sugar. Just do less sugar. You didn't need to do half of that nonsense with all that sugar, then add something acidic into it to balance it out. You could have just done less sugar. That's so frustrating. So yeah, I'm going to make my own soda. I'm probably going to make a ginger bug, which will be really cool. But yeah, thickness. They put thickener in Mountain Dew to make it the right texture, and you won't realize it until you think about Mountain Dew being thick. Mountain Dew's a little bit more thick. Oh, sugar's also addicting. Sugar is 100% addicting. Like, to your brain, it triggers a lot of, like, positive signals. That's why they put so much sugar in it. But, I mean, it is what it is. I still am going to drink it. I love soda. I love Dr. Pepper. I like Mountain Dew. I like Coke. I like all of them. But it's thick. Oh, it is thick. You'll feel it. Go drink Mountain Dew and think about it being thick. Do it right now. Do it. 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 Ruin it for you forever. Good. It caked up. Somebody draw Mountain Dew with a fat ass. I mean, not a butt, but you know. Delicious. Exactly. Or you can do what I do and put a bomb in your towel closet. Right. So, Minecraft. We good with Minecraft? I want to try out the new update. I want to build copper guys. I'm going to still go with the same rules as before with a hardcore world. And I love making bombs. We're just going to be more energetic, doing some crazy stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they did. I mean, to be fair, a mouse would dissolve in about any soda. It's fact. Oh, because I need somewhere dark, cool that it doesn't open much. And, like, I don't actually put my towels into my towel closet. I take them from the dryer and I put them on the rack. Or I'll leave them in the dryer until I need them. Yeah. Also, my towel cabinet has D&D supplies. It has a few art books, shoes, and well, it had a soda bottle in it, so I don't actually put any sheets in it. And the space underneath my bed that's intended for sheets is full of cables. And the the top of my closet in my bedroom is full of audio foam. I think most of the clothes are just like hanging around the dryer. Because, or I just said this, it had to be dark and cool, and that's the only place I didn't open enough. Audio foam. You know, like reverb. I need to put it up here, but like I've been too lazy. I don't want to damage the walls, which means I'd have to make paper and I'd have to make stuff to mount. Why are you apologizing? Why are you apologizing? Don't you apologize. No apologies. None. You're not allowed to apologize. Do you hear me? You meant to get home. You clock. You know what? Fine. You know, we're gonna add a clock in redeem. People can clock in when they get in, and that way it can tell me if you're late or if you're early. It's gonna happen. And if you're late, I'm donking you. Okay. You don't be sorry for being sorry. What do you mean? Okay. You know, I'm coming. I'm coming. Never mind. We're done. I'm done. Stream's over. Okay. Minecraft. We good with Minecraft? Anybody have any issue with Minecraft? If you have an issue with Minecraft, speak now or forever hold your peace. You have 5, 4, 3, 2. Where's Minecraft? Minecraft? Minecraft. Okay, it should be ready. Wait, that's not right. One second. I broke it. Stop it. Stop being broken. No. Ah. Okay. It's fine. You can't stop me from breaking it. Try and make me not break things right now. Come on, prove it. Try. You can't do it. Can you? Chat, no. You know why you can't do it? You know why? Oh, God, that was clipped. Vanya! No, stay, Vanya. You're legally required to stay. Minecraft here. Where are thou, princess? Minecraft, where are you, princess? That's great. Okay. Where is it? Come on. What do you mean something unexpected happened? Don't tell me something unexpected happened. What does that mean? Okay. Installations. All right. Wait. Play. There we go. Okay, this should be good. This should work. Well, that's because when Vanya leaves, Vanya actually like breaks everything on the way out. Chat, you might not hear it, but every time Vanya leaves, they immediately smash everything if I don't acknowledge them. That's why I have so many broken things and things are so messy here. Vanya's committing violence at my home. You don't hear. They're very quiet, but there's a giant hole in my wall whenever they leave. That's why I always notice Vanya when Vanya's like, I'm leaving, because they blow things up. It's great. But I have raccoon insurance. So it's, no, Vanya, stay! Vanya, stay! You're not allowed to leave, Vanya. You're legally required to stay. Vanya, how am I going to survive? I will not survive. All right. Who's Vanya? Oh. Yeah. You know, I never thought about that. Nobody knows that Violet Loon's name is Vanya. I mean, you just kind of get used to it. But, yeah. The fucking goat. Vanya is the goat. Vanya is very cool. All right, we're going to do this real quick. Cutting. Where is it? 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 I broke it, chat. I broke it. Again. I'm so prepared. Can you believe that I've been streaming for 85 days? Can you believe? No, I cannot. Because I'll actually be turning the music off. We'll be doing this normal stuff. Here it is. Where it is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? But can you all believe that I have been streaming for 85 days? Can you? Can you? Can you? Can you believe it? It has been 85 days. How insane is that? Non-stop, every single day, twice a day most days. Well, I'm sorry that you're bopping. Yeah. Yeah. 85 days. Not 85 years. Wow. Robin, mean. What do you mean? 5 days till 3 months? Exactly. Even no, I'm not that old. Hey. 85? Really? Wow. It's the meme from the... Congrats on the 85... All right, I need a name for this world. What are we calling it, chat? Copper. Vanya, I need a name for the world. Wait. Chat, I have something here. I was going to save this. Let me see if this is good. Okay. Wait. Where are they? Damn, they ditched me. Okay, well. I guess we'll just do normal stuff then. I'm so disappointed. I was hoping it would call Vanya from the depths, but it didn't work. Hi, Aiko. How you doing? There you are. Vanya, I missed you, Vanya. I wanted to do this. Wait. No, it ripped badly. I'm so sorry. It's falling to pieces now. Oh no. This one will work better. There we go. Now I feel better. I missed you, Vanya. Come back. Well, one of them I ripped twice. The other one was a new shirt. We're doing it. I forgot to... Oh. Options. We want you to hang out. What's wrong? You doing okay? Yeah, I had to do a new one. Okay, Minecraft. We're doing Minecraft. Is the volume okay, chat? We're going to turn on the music also, because I've had the music turned off. Yeah, some people are new to the concept of ripping shirt. I mean, fair. This is normal. It's been a while since I've ripped shirts. Wait a second, is this leaves? Why the heck is this? Why is there leaf litter? All right, chat, 15 minutes, let's go. Yep, we do. There's plants. There's flowers. Yeah, exactly. It's been so long. Thank you. Thank you. What do you mean? No, don't blame me. You shouldn't blame me. Exactly. We haven't listened to the Minecraft music. Oh, I should change what game we're playing, shouldn't I? There we go. All right, chat. And now we gotta hang out. We gotta hang out with all of you. Immediately ditches me. I'm like, hey, we're gonna hang out. And then leaves immediately. It's because Black Silver hates me. I knew it, chat. Damn. Immediately get picked up by... Okay, anyways, chat, first off, how you all doing? What have you all been up to today? Have you all been doing fun stuff? Anybody do anything cool? Anyone? Sleeping. Oh, sleeping's fun. Dying. Oh, Aiko. I don't know if Aiko's here. You worked. Ooh, gross. I hate working. I named it Oompa Loompa. Aw, that's... Oh. Wait, are you doing commissions right now? Did you ever work on that emote for me? Did you ever do that emote for me? I just thought about it. Actually, let's turn that up a little bit. I tell you why. Cool. I just wanted to make sure you're working on it. I didn't want to be like, you know. Oh, right. How much do I owe you? You made perler bead art? You can just also DM me that. You don't have to say it here. This is so much different. What the hell? You can't. You should call me out harder. I mean, look at this. There's trees that are over. There's leaves everywhere. There's leaves falling from trees. This is the new update. Are you in the Discord? Because there is a section in the Discord for pets. If you're not in the Discord, you can always just message me on Facebook. Facebook, sorry. I don't use Facebook. Twitter. There's fireflies. Oh, shoot. How much time do I have left? On the time, 11 minutes, thank you. Thank you. What's up, Vanias? Give me seeds, please. They won't give me seeds, chat. Yeah, I still use the marketplace on Facebook every once in a while. Actually, I don't. Because everything I want on Facebook Marketplace is free furniture. And do you know that you need to have a car for... Why is that like... Why are you flat? What is that? Why are you shaped weird? Interesting. Huh? No. Huh? What? Huh? I'll give you my truck, Gene, so you can go pick up. Bet. Come find me right now. But I can't give you my address, so come find me without my address. Vanya. What's up, Vanyas? What's up, Vanya? You usually find a lot of coal and iron on large exposed areas. Oh, that's a good point. And this looks like a boat, or a house, or a boat, or a... Whatever it is, it gives me free stuff. What the heck? Coast armor trim. Map. Addy, how much time do we have left? 10 minutes? Really? Sweet. All right, we're going to go this way. Maybe this way. Hi, Echo Rose. How you doing? Oh, come on. Don't... What was the cheese? Huh? Oh, these are armor trim. Oh, come on. Like you can cut patterns into armor, I think. Is this the wrong way? Oh, yeah, no, there's new flowers on the ground. Did you not see all the flowers and stuff I was picking up? Okay, what's going on here? Oh, what's this? You're in promotion range. Oh, okay, Vanya, you have all of my luck today. I'm giving you all of my luck. You got this. Y'all weren't paying attention to the game. Wow. What do y'all pay attention to when I'm playing games? I know I'm the white dot on the left, but I'm trying to grow. Vanya, I'm giving you all of my luck. You get all of my luck. No, not Honkai. Not for Honkai. Hey, look, it's another ship. Bad idea. I'm stuck. We're fine. What's this? Curse of Binding. Respiration. Ooh, respiration. Sweet. Wait. We want me to turn on better graphics. What do you mean? I'm on better graphics. Oh, fabulous. What the fuck? Okay. How much time do we have left? Yeah, Addy? Sweet. Interesting. Oh, is this what this is? Is this shaders? Huh. Okay, come on. Like, show me moving on the map somewhere, please. Maybe it's this way. I was supposed to look better than... Wow. Gene, yours looks bad. I can't believe you would insult me like this. To my face. Because you hate me. It's okay. I get it. Am I? Oh, come on. Well, we're also in the water. We'll mess with it once I find some place to actually go. This map sucks. I blame you, chat. Why'd you ruin my map? What'd you do to it? I'm sorry. Vanya, you're mods. I'm not insulting you, Vanya. Like, come on, like, show it getting smaller or something. I know we're almost out of time. I hope that was enough stuff. Hoshi's Queen. Hello, Hoshi's Queen. What's up, Queenie? Bum 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 ba da 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 da. Well, yeah, I'm good if I'm going the right section. Da 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 da. I mean, what else would I call you? I'm not gonna call you Hoshi. Hoshi's Hoshi. I give up. This map sucks. This map sucks. I'm never looking at it ever again. Ooh, what's this? Yoink. Firefly bush. I will keep it. And we're gonna try to grow trees underwater again. Or underground. No, the map is gone forever. I threw it away. Because, I mean, I don't have enough time to find it, and it didn't change, so, you know. Putting AirPods in. Oh, gotcha. Hello, everybody who can hear me on Queenie's side. Queenie is a nerd and is currently watching Anime Boys on their phone. Sorry, I just had to make sure that everything went well. No, don't download that game. You're supposed to be playing Unamusa or Unamudi or the Horse Girl game. That's what I gave you my luck for. Oh, yo. Well. Where did that hole come from? Where did that hole come from? Anyway, starting back over. All right, we got this. Chat, I need a seed. Give me your seed. What do you want me to do for a seed? Peeps? Peeps it is. Ooh, I like Peeps. Pregnant. This actually looks odd. Oh, I want to look at this real quick. Video settings, fully blocking, smoothing, facing, reduce FPS on 8K, attack indicator crosshair, clouds fancy, fast fancy. Mm-hmm. All right, sweet. You missed Dr. Pepper Did you what? Go back where? What about the frog? I can't take the frog, can I? I need like a bucket. Or can I take a frog? You saw me in the Discord. You did. I did not see you. Or maybe I did. I don't know how to collect a frog. Hi, Baby Bunny Bubbles. How you doing? Welcome. All right, you know what our goal is. Chat. Baby Bunny Bubbles. Baby Bunny Bubbles. Baby Bunny Bubbles. I like your name. You're never allowed to change it. I hope you understand that. You can take tadpoles in a bucket? Well. In that case, we're going to need to find a way to get a bucket. I hope you're very happy with your name, Baby Bunny Bubbles. I will not allow it to be changed. Alliteration gets preference now. Bucket time. I want a bucket, but I don't know how I'm going to get a bucket, okay? Do I? Probably. But I like your name, Baby Bunny. Did the font change? I think, yes I do. But still, you're not allowed to change your name because it's fun to say right now. Oh, you did change your name. Why'd you change your name? How am I supposed to know? People, I love you all so very, very much. How am I supposed to know who you are if you change your name? That's your name. I found Vanya. Hi, Vanya. Go in the water, Vanya. Aww. You ate bubbles? Why'd you eat bubbles? Probably. If your name is different on another platform, I will not recognize you. You've always been a turtle, Vanya. What do you mean? I also don't remember this music. Hi, Jupiter, sweetie. How you doing? Oh, I don't guess. Honey, we have like 13 echoes. I don't assume. I had one person with a name that was like barely off of somebody else's name that like I thought they were somebody else for ages. They did. We have so many echoes. We probably have an echo sound off. I'm so excited to make copper golems, chat. And copper anything. I mean, like, I'm so excited to have use for copper. Oh, give me a second. I forgot to tell you all that I am on... Sound off? Wait, you want me to do an echo sound off? Oh, hi, Echo! They did different colored chickens. What the heck is this? Hello! What's up, cutie? Oh my god, look at your stupid head. Look at your stupid head. What's your stupid baby look like? Let me see your baby. Let me see, get out of the... He's so dumb. Love him. He's the best. Sound off. Oh. It was funny. I was thinking of something else. Chicken bobas. I have 9 minutes. Thank you. Okay, Vanya. For you, I will stop saying it. I appreciate you. Hey, that includes you, Addie. I will respect Vanya's wishes. Ooh, hello, cow. It's going saying in here. Fire. 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 So that's how we're good. You're washing dishes. There's also stupid leaves. I don't know what the leaves are for, but I'm going to use them. And apparently, they've removed all the villages. Because I've yet to run into one. Hey, look, a village! Put me in a composter. Chat, I don't like how Minecraft music is so delayed. That why is the music not here all the time? More music. Need more music. Ooh, fish. Hello, Hoshi. 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 Hoshi! I know, but it's not playing right now. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't hear it? That's not playing. Huh? Don't confuse me, Aura. It's already too easy for that. God damn it, Aura! I was actually thinking that I might be missing something here. Hoshi, how are you? How's it going? I hope you're doing... Sorry. I got scared because I couldn't go through the railing. Doing amazing. I'm not tired. Yet. I will be tired.
Iron. For this I paid the iron price.
Oh yeah, Hoshi, what time is it for you? Pog. Now I will recognize you places. Apparently. I made another crafting table. That's okay. That's okay. I'm allowed to be a little silly goofy. It's 7 p.m.? Oh. Okay. Weird. Did you just say Pog? Addy? Addy, there's people in our on my Discord that say swag. Or any sort of other, you know, outdated slang. I can say Pog.
Are you casting a spell?
Exactly. Exactly. You played the fifth? Since when I'm your honor. Oh, but I actually might be doing a judge thing. Hello, Hoshi. Oh, no. Do. Judge Gene, I will be a judge. What's this? What do you mean the bundle? Huh? Huh? What is this? Huh? Sick. Ch. I filled up my sack. My sack is too full right now. I'll figure out how to empty things out of it so it'll be fitting better. Bad Gene? No, it's a big sack. Sometimes you gotta fill in a sack. It's fine. It's fine. My sack is full right now. We'll see if we can fix it later, though. All right, it's time for me to kill myself. I mean, sorry. It's time for me to accidentally get killed in this game. 1, 2, 3. Give me your stuff. Thank you. But if he gets on that one piece right there, he will reach. That's what always happens. I'm sleeping in here. Sorry. He is so sad that I beat him. I would be too if I beat me, but I don't beat me. Exactly. Especially since I can only be on the surface for a certain amount of time. Then we gotta live underground again. I should be stealing torches, shouldn't I? How much time do we have left, by the way? My Pentas. Bread, that'll help. 3 minutes. Thank you. That's just stone, right? Yeah. I've been sending Vonnie a bunch of songs that I need to do covers of. You can't hear anything? Oh no! Everybody, Queenie is I don't know, I was gonna say something. My brain's gone though. My brain is gone and I have no thoughts, and that's okay, Jen. I don't need thoughts, do I? Not a single thought. No brain? Yeah. No brain. No brain, no brain. Yeah, just go womp womp. In my head all the time, just womp womp. Okay, we've looted everything. They deserve rights. Who deserves rights? No thoughts, just pretty. I'm pretty.
Come here, kitty. Ah, kitty. Eat my fish. Kitty. Kitty. Return to me. Eat it. Eat it.
Aha! Oh, he took my fish and ran. Never mind. Well, I mean, every time I go to a kitty, half the time they're like, yeah, yummy, delicious. And then the other half of the time they're like, oh no, the worst thing you've ever done to me, ever, in particular. Wait. Come on, lovelies. We're going underground together. Why have I never done this before? Everyone in the hole. Nope, keep the timer going, Perfect. Thank you for giving me a shout out to Pomo. Okay. So this might be a little hard. But I think we got it. Okay. This is fine. Okay. Wait. Okay. Everything is fine. Okay. We're going to give them a little bit more space so that I can hopefully touch the ground. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, no. Ah. Okay. There we go. Whew. Okay. And now we can start going down. Sometimes you gotta keep things in your basement, okay? It ain't weird. All right. Okay. We're gonna clear out a little paddock here to put them in. I can't believe I've never done this before. I guess I just, I have everything I need. It's the best. Do you have wood by chance? Yes. Oh, thank God. Whew. Heart stopped. Okay, we got this time. Not much at all. But it'll work. It'll be fine. Oh, baby. My heart just went, and I almost died. Yep. Right. Okay. So first off, let's see if we can bring you all down here. We're gonna build some walls. I think I got 2 cows, actually. Yep, we got 3 cows. We got 3 cows. What do you mean only 1? Okay. Stop trying to die. Okay, we got this. So, I'm gonna put you. Get in the hey, corner. Perfect. Not everybody at once. There we go. Perfect. You know what that means, chat? Okay. Because I don't have room for it. If I don't have room for it, I gotta get rid of it. I have too many sheep. Okay. You'll go in the corner. Get in the corner. Get in the corner. Get fit. Fit in there. Fit. One of you needs to move. Get in the corner for casting black magic. Aha! No! Hey! Hey! In. Okay. There we go. I'm sorry. He didn't want to walk anyhow. Can I have my gnome bacon now? All right. Chickadees, you coming with me? Come on, chickens. Hey, 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 hey. In we go. Come on, get in your corner. Get in your dark corner. Come on, in the fine. Dark corner. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in the corner. Hey, hey! Where do you think you're going? Corner. Corner. There you go. All right. I don't want to be stuck in here with you, though, so go in the corner. 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 There. You know what, just in case. You eat this. You eat that. All right. We got this, we got this, we got this. Amazing. Okay. I don't have a queen, and I probably never will. The cows made a baby. The cows did make a baby. There's a... You could have stayed in the back and I couldn't have touched you. Why did you come forward? Why? All right. Things are better now. You get to live for spinning. You're no, your state. You get to live. I wish you luck. Worship you? No. Nice try, though. No. The only thing I'd ever worship would be myself. There we are. Perfect. Okay. We have cows. We have sheep. We have chickens. Chat, there's nothing we gotta worry about here. We've got this. Oh, I need to we have no water. We have no water, which is a problem. Neeks, ban yourself. Just kidding, don't ban yourself, but also. Okay, we have a chest. We have chests. Nice. Okay, chest. Here. Perfect. Gonna put all the leaves in there. Crafting table. I'm going to try to make a composter. Do I remember how to make a composter? Is that this? Or is that just a barrel? This is me building the basement. You're right. I didn't think about that. Oh, it's all... What a weird thing. Okay. Whatever. Slabs. And there we go. Put this here because we can't really go up anyways. All right. What do I have in here? Can I do anything worthwhile with leaves? Oh no. Fix it. There it goes. Okay. I didn't break anything. Hi, Neeks. Love you, sweetie. Oh, what did I miss? Oh, fine. Arf, I'm such a cute little puppy. Oh, shit, Hoshi. Hoshi, I'm so sorry if you're still here. Well, here we are. This is the voice that you've asked for, and I guess I could do this for you, because it's been requested. I wasn't paying attention. I'm very, very, very sorry. I will do anything to make it up to you, okay? Okay. We are back here. I hope you enjoy it. Leaf. Und leaf. That is. I am not a good boy. I am an evil boy. A boy committed to committing evil. Who does only the evilest things of all the evils. Why are you vibrating? Do not vibrate. Do not vibrate in my presence. How dare you? Such a sinful thing to do. I'm wasting too... Oh, wait a second. We have sticks. Okay. How do I open you? Okay. That works. Sticks. What? Evil. Evil. Okay, so we'll put this in here. Und this, und this, und this, und this. Ooh, potatoes! Potatoes will be very good. Oh, we have this too. And we put this away, and we put this away, and I put this away, and I put this away, and this away. And where is my bread? That is. Good. How many minutes do I have of this to do? We have... Oh, I'm such a good doggy. There, you happy, Jupiter. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? I hope you are proud of yourself. Chat, I want more music. We're going to play music. I need music. What's this? There we go. This is atmospheric music. I feel better. There we go. My brain was shutting off. There was not enough noise for me. I needed a little bit of something. I think I've gotten so used to having some music in the background that without it, the game just feels quiet, you know? Wasn't Atmosphere a band? I refuse to look this up. You cannot make me. Unless Hoshi was trying to sleep. In case if Hoshi was trying to sleep, I apologize, Hoshi. Let me know and I will turn the music off. Ah, shoot. I do need this, though, because we keep losing. Okay. I need this. How did I get to... Did they increase the chance of chickens? Hell yes. Okay, cool. I'll take it. I also hit the baby chickens in the face. I once accidentally killed a baby chicken by beating it in the face with eggs. Because I spawned it and I just kept throwing the eggs. It's not very good to do. It wasn't intentional. It was unintentional. You can't blame that on me. Okay, chat. If you are a spy, please raise your hand, okay? I need to know right now if you're a spy. Raise your hand. I knew it, Daddy. I knew it. I knew you were a spy all along. Who are you spying for? Who do you spy for? Who do you spy for? Tell me the secrets. No, come on, tell me. Make it a secret. Gibbets, who are you spying for? You spy for these? Who's... I won't tell. Accidentally. How dare you? I will not fall for that. It's too late. They already got me with a G's. At least it's not as bad as the dragon. Do you all remember the dragon when I was playing the Date Everything game? Yeah, you know about the dragon these nuts? Scheiß. Whew. Okay, we're back. Where are my little treasure chests? Where are my treasure chests? Where are my treasure chests? Carmia, explain, Carmia, per favore. Perché no? Oh, I did give my luck to Vanya. Well, you know, it's okay. Vanya can keep the luck. It helps them. Come vai, bombo. And we will take this here. Okay, wait, we're getting all the copper. I think I only need copper for these things, right? Why does this feel so spooky? Yeah, we're going to finally make the copper golem. Alright. Music. We are going to... Huh? No, there is no way it needs pumpkin. If it needed pumpkin, I would have gotten the... Why are they all pumpkin? It can't be. I don't believe so. No. A different kind of golem. The new one. They are very cool. They added a new golem.
Okay, weitere Minutes vergeudet Resistance her. Perfekt. I be zooming. Yeah, you need. No way, I need a pumpkin! Ah, no! This is going to make this so much more difficult. We could have already had this down. They make the cup of. I don't want the pumpkin. I don't want the pumpkin. Why do they do this to me? Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Oh yeah, the chest didn't have nothing. There was no chest. They took my chests. Vanya took my chest with them, which is okay. I understand. They needed it more than I did. We're just going to put. I like this bag actually. I think it's very cool. We just get to throw like random things in it. That way, if we get like one-off items, they just go straight in the bag. It's very cool. It's the coolest. Okay, let's find more iron. Who stole our luck? Who took it? Chat, raise your hand if you took the luck. Right. You can tell today is not an ASMR stream. Okay. You may be Ginger, but it wasn't you. That's, why do I not believe that? Well, go be Ginger again. Gingers are cute. Chat, everyone should be Ginger. Everybody make your hair red. That way I know that, that way it's easier for me to spot you in the distance. It's true facts, and this is what I need. I wouldn't call you fire truck. I would call you, flame. You should. Most definitely. I can hear you. Where are you? Burgundy's fine. That's fine. It counts. I will call you a lovely little flame. I hear you. I know you're here. My flame. Oh, by the way, since we got rid of praise redeems, I might add affirmation redeems. You know, just generalized, you know, like, you can do it. You got this. Things may be hard, but, and like, well, I will do a motivation redeem, and I will do a acquisition, what's it called? I lost the word, chat. Help me, chat. Affirmation. Because I like saying nice things about y'all, and y'all deserve nice things said about you. And I like hearing those kind of things myself. You do shame? I'm not going to do shame. But I'm not going to do sweet, genuine praise. Because that did lead to some negative responses in extreme parasociality. What is this noise that I'm hearing? Y'all can hear that, right? It's like burp, burp. Up or down? Okay, it's to my right. It's right here. It's right here. Why was it just here in the nothing? Fuck. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was close. Oh, it almost got me. Oh, it almost got me. Oh, it almost got me. Come on, where are you, sweetie? You know, I'll just let the other one live. Fine, we'll find the other one. There's two. Oh, honey, my sweet, sweet darling. Don't you know how wonderful you are? I fell. They're like the same red of the bright mushroom thingies. What are we clipping? I mean, if you're struggling with your feet, you can always try your knees. Anyways, I'm done. I'm done. Water! Hey! I've been looking for you. Huh? What's everybody okay? What's going on?
You'll never know what I said. You will never know what I have said. The words have been spoken and are now gone. From this time and all times. The words.
Yeah. You know. Ah! Shit. All right, chat. I am on call, so I need to go see what this is. I'll be right back. Okay, chat? Mwah. Because I'm currently working right now, technically. So 1 second. Fine. I'm coming back. I hope you all enjoyed it. Back to stream. Okay. Had to make sure that you all wanted to come back. And maybe you didn't want to. I never know. Okay, I have to figure out what goes on with Minecraft all the time because, like, for some reason... Give me a second. It doesn't register after a little while. No, it just it won't register the same name. There we go. Thank you for the follow, Harpy. How you doing? Let's see if you won. Oh, you got close. You almost won that. Imagine if you'd won that. I'd have to gift you a sub right off the bat. But hi, Harpy. Nice to meet you. I'm lost immediately. Was it this way? Do y'all enjoy that game? I mean, I'm sure you do, or else you wouldn't play it all the time. But do you? Oh. I'm glad you do your best. All right. Oh, I'm so nervous exploring this place. But we need the iron. I was going to be so upset if my phone gets too many notifications, chat, I will just drop out. Heads up. Oh, really? Wait, did I come across on Twitch or did I come across on TikTok? I'm curious. But I hope you enjoy your time here. We're just chilling out right now. Oh, sick! Oh, it's so cool. What? If you don't mind me asking, which video was it? God, I'm so glad I've started actually posting on those. It's so cool. When people come in and they're like, "Yeah, I saw you on this app." I'm like, "Ah, yay!" Oh, redeems what you? Oh, god damn it! We're gonna do the Southern, really? That's the one you want? Fine. We can do the Southern just for you. Hope you enjoy it. I'm famous. I mean, I ain't famous. Sure wish I was. Nah. Nah, your friends just like me. Because they're like, oh my god, it's that one weird e-boy. What's the other one? Oh, god damn it. And I'm such a good doggy. There you go. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that one's been doing good. I think people like it because, it gets that personality involved. I have to drink what? Fine. Delicious, quote unquote, water. Where we going? Addie, why would you lie to them like that? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm actually dating all of your friends, Addie. I'm sorry to tell you that I'm actually been dating all of your friends this entire time. Oof. You can't blame me. They didn't want you to know. They didn't want your feelings to be hurt. There, Lumi. Oh, I love the word salute. Alla help. Yeah, I said all you. Kidding. There we go. All right. Wait, is that how much lava is that? Is that wait. No, stay. How much is that? Is that one piece of lava or is that several pieces of lava? I'm so where was it? Where is it? Help! Or are you, of course? Shit. All right. This will solve our wood issues. Oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I won't date your friend. Chat, I will not date anybody who watches stream. I've already said that. I ain't gonna date any viewer. Unless you're secretly like a billionaire. No, just kidding. But also. Melissa? What do you mean, Melissa? Who, Melissa? Parasocial who? Oh, yeah? Wait, does that friend play D&D? I mean... Somebody explain Melissa joke. Come on. Oh, does he have money? I'm... You can't blame me, chat. Fudge. God damn, every single time he keeps jump scaring me. Get away! Out of here. Thank God. All right. Fine. What you doing down here? Y'all making my life difficult. God, I'm being haunted, ain't I? Yes, I deserve it. I am adorable. I should get more points for being adorable, honestly. Like, where is it? I mean, she can always come back and tell me herself. You know, the praise sounds a lot better coming out of her mouth, I'm sure. You give me 1 point. Woo! I'll take a point. Beat him up. Beat her up. I know, and it's amazing every single time you call me adorable. It has never not been adorable when I get called. Wait, no, not adorable. My eye hurts. 1 second. Hey, chat, can you explain something to me? Now, y'all know how you're supposed to be taking care of your face, right? Like, you're supposed to do lotions, you're supposed to do soaps, and you're supposed to do a daily sunscreen, right? All right, well, the skin on my eye, not my eye itself, but you know, the eyelid, right? Well, why is it by the end of every single day, I have somehow gotten sunscreen in my eye, and now it burns, and I'm having to deal with this holding one eye shut so I can get myself back to a place that's safe? Until I can finally... I can't. That's a you issue. Hey. I mean, obviously, but you're using too much. No, I don't. I think the problem is I rub my eyes. And so I'm just rubbing it into them. That is a crazy way to enter in the conversation, Dazzy. You're lucky I care for you. No, it's actually really good sunscreen. I think legitimately it's that I rub my eye, and then I forget to not rub my eye, and then I just push it into my eye. Yeah, that might be a me issue. So I should be consuming sunscreen is what you're telling me, right? Wait. What is this? What is this? Wait. Copper pick. Copper pick. Can copper? Interesting. Is copper just like stone but not... I know how I feel about this. There's what we've been looking for. Jesus. What's a cup? What is this? What is this? Interessante. Alright, we're gonna do a thing. What if I do this and this? That don't make nothing. About this, that don't make nothing. I kinda like that sword. All right, what if I'm making a nugget? Try making a copper nugget. Copper to... Oh, what's the difference? Don't shave your hair off? What do you mean? Blue, blue, blue! Girlie, who did you just break up with? That's a fucking spider. Do not. Yeah, then just dye the color. Why would you shave it? Dye it. Change the color. Come on. Girlie. Oh, that's what I've been looking for. All right. I don't like the color. Better remove all of it. I think it's dumb. Sorry. Because you're not solving the solution that you're looking for. You ain't solving what you're wanting to solve. Oh, I can stop this other now. Did you dye it black? Did you dye it black? I mean, I'm sure you'd look fine with shaved hair either way, but like... Oh, I love dyeing my hair. I used to bleach it and color it all the time. My hair's always really healthy, though. Because I'm just nice like that. I know this isn't going to work, but I wish it would. Oh, God. I have trapped myself. I know it's not going to work, but I wish this is all it took to make the copper golem. See, that should work. You stupid freaking pumpkin. Oh. See, my hair takes really well to dyes and colors. So, like, I can, like, fully bleach my hair. Not white, but, like, close. And it will be fine. Yeah, that's the name. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Sword. 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 Perfect. Okay. We're gonna collect all my stone. I just need one water. We're going to the nether, chat. I've learned. Can't blame me for this. Oh, get a wolf cut. Yeah, get a wolf cut. Wolf cuts are so hot. Everyone should have a wolf cut. Have a what? Have a what? Why are we in the basement? You've always been in the basement, chat. I might get a wolf cut. Actually, I could probably get a wolf cut now. My hair's almost long enough. I used to have a mullet. Chat, if I ever, when we hit partner and I face reveal, I will show you the old pictures of my mullet. Too bad, Jupiter. Ooh, fucking... Oh, God, I hate those stupid things. Okay. There it is. Hi, Kinky Man. How you doing? Lovely. No, you're not allowed out of the basement. I'm sorry. You have to stay in the basement. It's for your own safety and protection. Probably. And, you know, that way I can get the viewer goals. You know, we have to hit 70 by the end of the year, chat. How are we going to hit 70 by the end of the year if I don't keep you locked here, huh? You might leave. You better not be. You come right back here. To make this harder than it needs to be. I don't know if I can trust you. That looks weirdly square. Okay, maybe. Interesting. Nobody comment on me saying, fine, I'll get a cat. We can have a cat. Nobody comment on me saying, think it was weirdly square with it being Minecraft. Hey, head back. Put your head back. Somebody might notice you. And then they'll take you away. You don't want to get taken away, do you? Okay. That easy, huh? Thank you for the like, dwarf. Always appreciated. Oh, look at him trying to be sneaky. You're gonna teach the kitty how to... Don't drown the cat. Do not drown the cat. Where the heck is this water? Why is this water so far? What? What is going on here? That is almost outside. Oh, that was close. That was close. Ooh. That's fair, that's fair. Basement does have books. A variety of books. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. No skeletons. Shoot. There we go. Stay away. Leave. Whoop. Of course the basement has an art corner. What do you think I'm keeping all your arts? Any art supplies? It also has a fridge for me to put your art on. I don't know if there's any food in the fridge, but there's definitely a fridge for art supplies to put arts on, you know. Okay. There we go. Can I have a computer for writing? I'll get you a laptop, okay? Someone stole the pasta. Who stole the pasta? Who stole the pasta? Who was who had the pasta last? Pomo, don't be stealing pasta. Well, I was gonna make you something. You just had to be patient. One. Okay, I'm starving now. Okay, I will find something to make you. Okay, I will make you something, I promise. Okay, so that should be one. Ugh, didn't work. Hmm. There we go. Okay. How's it going? It's going pretty good. How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Are we good? What? I had super long hair. Why did I have a mullet? Because my ex liked mullets. I had a mullet and a mustache, actually, for a little while. But now I go with the more stubble look and just long hair. Curly, long hair. What's up? Yeah. I mean, I was a sloot, so, you know, probably free. There it is. Okay. Well, you got to get me to partner status, chat. Remember, we have to have 70 average viewers. No, I used to be. I'm a good boy now. I'm a good boy now. Of course. No. Evil, you can be good and evil. The dichotomy of, you know, of villainy. I don't know. Words. A yin-yang. I can be your angel, or I can be your devil. Yeah, I'll hole. Be my angle. I'll be your angle. Don't you be splitzing on me. Angle. be my angle and brack. I'm not my heart or soul. Goofy. All right, how are we gonna do this? I need to, but I don't have. Ooh, I do have. We have. But I do not have. I need something. Okay, I need to put some stuff away. No. My hurt missile. Oh, 1 second. Are you ready? Let's see what happens. Okay, not bad. What do we have? Okay, there's a skeleton over there. Lava. More lava coming down. Okay, pigment. We need gold. Getting gold. All right. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. What are you trying to why are you trying to summon a mod? What's going on, Neeks? Neeks, you are a mod. What are you trying to summon a mod for? You are the mod. But I'm worried. I'm worried. Oh no, the ad. Mm-hmm. What'd I do? I didn't do anything. Oh! Well, then... You always ping the mod chat on Discord and be like, hey, y'all. Ooh. What am I in trouble for? Well, because you use me, especially like when you go, like, you have treatment and stuff done. And so, like, I don't want you to have deal with ads. Also, if I do, like, ASMR... Shush! Don't... Shoof. Oh no, I feel like I'm in trouble. I feel like I did something wrong. Is it because I didn't have a pimp hat? I'm not being mean to you, Vanya. No, I didn't. Didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Line art. Ooh, I'm excited. I didn't do anything. Don't sob. What did I do? I'm gonna cry forever, chat. Being quirky? Am I a quirked up white boy who's good with the sauce, busting it down, sexual style? Am I allowed to? I am pretty fly for a white guy. You're right. You made fun of me in the morning stream. That's why. Did I make fun of you in the morning stream? What did I say about you in the morning stream? I believe you. I do believe you. Actually, before I leave, how much longer are you streaming for? Sorry, we're good. Like 15, 20 minutes? Why, what's up? It depends. How many people are watching right now? How many people we got here right now? No, Vanya, I like doing specific apologies. I am sorry for bullying you. You said raccoon smelled like freezer burn? I would not. I would never say the raccoon smelled like freezer burn. That would be a lie. The raccoon smells lovely, always. Wait, should I stream to 7? No, I can stream to 7. I will stream to 7, totally. Why? Why do you want me to stream to 7? Vanya is lovely and a treasure. 100% a treasure. 34. Oh, who'd you want me to raid? You know who else is 34? I don't know. I actually don't know anybody. I legitimately know nobody who's 34. No, I'm not 34. Can you imagine? He's a hacker, sweetie. He's a hacker? Oh, do you want me to actually explain the 6-7 thing? Are you 34? Your boy old? Gasp. No, it does mean something. It just doesn't really mean much of anything. You don't want me to explain it? Vanya, I will tell you all about it. Oh, it is stupid. It is a stupid thing. It's from a song. It's legitimately from a song, and that they were doing edits to. So like they're using the song for like weird edits, more sports edits mostly. And this one team was like obsessed with trying to get people to make edits of them, and so they'd always say the word 6-7 because if people said the word 6-7, they would use the song that has the numbers 6-7 in it. And so now anytime there's that number 6-7, people are like, oh, it's the edit song, pretty much. Yeah. I told you, stupid. Yep. Wow. They got you on brain rot Twitter. Okay, how am I going to do this? Because I need to go up there. I don't know then. I need more blocks. Is Media Share Night so much better? We probably won't be doing it this weekend, by the way. With the whole October thing happening, I'll probably be playing something different for that one. But the Media Share Night will come back later. But build it up right now anyways. It'll be fine. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll have stuff planned. I promise. Alright, there we go. I think it should be enough. I never said I'm gonna stream until 7. I'm actually getting a little bit EP. I just need to figure out how to get past this freaking skeleton. I think what I'm gonna do is... Vanya, I did not read past below you, and I was like, oh my god. It's like, damn, Vanya. Live? Okay, 3. Why do I have to deny everything? Why is that a requirement for me to deny everything? Alright, bye, Addy. What the hell? Is this... What the f... Oh, Boku, thank you! Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And Zephyr and Skunk Clash, and I don't know who the other one was. I hope you all appreciate the subs. Or I hope you enjoy the subs. I'd appreciate. Yeah, fuck you. Let me put, what the fuck was that? Uh-huh. Well, did you give more? Did you, hey. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Everyone who's gifted subs, King, Dazzy, thank you for subbing. Boku, thank you for gifting subs. I appreciate it. I really do. Hype train. We have a little hype train. No, you should not give more. Keep your money. Look, once we hit a 50 average, we're doing the big fundraiser. So if you do want to donate, then I totally get it. That way you make me stream longer. You get to punish me. And you'll get things out of it. Okay? That's totally fine. No, you're totally fine.
Chat riot. Oh yeah. For gift stuff to 5+, should we take a risk? Should I take a little risk? Here. I'm gonna do a little thing, chat, okay? We're gonna take a risk. I'm gonna throw some subs out at y'all and let's see if Valorant gives it back. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. All right, let's see what happens. And here we go. Womp womp. Womp womp. Happens to the best of us. I love these names, though. You got nothing. CN Gamers up? What? There we go. What was that? Oh, you didn't have to gift. Oh, thank you for the sub. Oh, and you gave Valorant give a sub. Blow up. Thank you. Fuck. There you go. Ooh, okay, we're okay. I appreciate it. No, don't worry. We've gotten plenty of donos and stuff this month. Like I'm solid. But I really appreciate it. I do really appreciate it, Boku. I mean, Val did too. Hey, nice. Okay, where do I get out of here? Not that way. Shut up. Not that kind of... Wow. Degens, all of you. Solid girth. We're not talking about my schweenus. That's a secret between me and my chiropractor. I know. I'm actually... Ba ba ba. I do think it's funny that nobody questioned why me and my chiropractor know why my penis size is. Sorry. I said it's a secret between me and my chiropractor, and nobody commented about that. Oh, there it is, nap time. I'm proud of you. Did you not hear? I said, we're not going to talk about my schweenus. That's a secret between me and my chiropractor. I noticed. I see it, nap time. By the way, if you're experiencing any lag in my stream, please do a low refresh. What'd you ask? Aiko? Aiko, speak your words. Proctor. Exactly. It's none of your business. Speak. I'm so lost, chat. God, where the fuck is it? Why am I so lost? Oh, it could be anywhere. I'm so lost. Oh, why am I so lost? Oh, Aiko, I'm just gonna scroll back up there and read it later. Oh. You can't hide anything from me. Oh. Okay, what do you mean my snipping appointment? What do you mean? Nap time? I don't have a femboy voice. What even would that be? I don't understand what you mean by femboy voice. God, your friend is a friend. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, your friend's cute. I'm so lost. Why am I so lost, chat? Child, no, you ain't gonna get me like that. Come here. There it is. It's not a femboy voice, it's me just whining. I could not. I mean, I don't know exactly what a femboy voice would be. Why are you sad, Aiko? Why are you sitting? Come on, Aiko, stand back up. I think bro's lost. I am lost. What are you clipping? Peter.
Commit violence in my name. Commit violence in my name. Destroy her.
Hello. How you doing there? I'm gonna come down there and I'm gonna smack you, all right? Boop. Oh, look at you, boo up. Oh, ain't you so cute? Hey, we hit tier 3. Nice. Good job, chat. Proud of you.
Choo-choo. It's me on the choo-choo train.
I am so tired. What would deem? Oh, you want me to click? Yeah, we're gonna do a distant click. There we go. I make sure you want sniffs. Fine. And here we go.
Drown. You must bounce on it. Crazy style.
Okay. I might be out of luck.
Crazy style, Dio.
How am I back here? What the fuck? Huh? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I live here now. I just live here now. I just live here now. I don't need to live anywhere else. It's fine. I just live here now. Why isn't a smithing table like a crafting table? 'Cause I'm so lost. I don't know where I am and I'm lost. I don't want to be lost anymore. I'm so lost. No, if I touch the surface, I have to kill myself. I have to stand in caves. My pick is almost broken. So there's no point. If I don't find wood, I can't really leave. I don't know. I went in a circle, and now I don't know where I am anymore. Hey, diamond. Boogie. Hey, diamond.
Nix is lurking away. Look at a snake. Do you see a sneaky little Nix? Do you know that Nix's secret real name is actually Sneak? That's right, she forgot to spell the rest of the name.
Diamond, diamond, I like me some diamond. Ba 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 ba. I cannot breathe the air on the surface, chat. It is poisonous for the likes of me. There are others who may be able...
Hey, what is this? Come here, little one. Come here, let me destroy you. You will die. Thank you.
Sorry, what was that? Oh, well, I guess we're back in here. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? We must be careful here, chat. We grab this as quick as we can, and we sneak away. We are taking this. Yes, perfect. Is there a spooky little slime when I'm missing a wood piece? Okay. Will you see what I see? And we sneak in here. We are the sneakiest, sneaky little sneakers. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Who knows? Woodchucks aren't real. You know, one day I will find my farm again. It's okay. Now we have a problem. Okay, so the best thing I can do right now is make a little bit of food, okay? So we're going to take this, and we're going to do this. There. Oh, wait a second! I have idea! I have an idea. It's okay. Hear me out. Wolfpackers are bad. No, wolfpackers are fine. They are little guys. They aren't too big. You know what I'm saying, right? So I have the gold. Because what we need right now is gold. Yes? You understand? Sleeping in the cold. Who is sleeping in the cold? There are different species. And also wolfpackers. Huh, yeah, wolfpacker. That is what I'm talking about. Anyways. Hole. Hold me back my hole. Sorry, we're good. Everything's fine. Oh, I just need more wood. Und we nailed this. And now we are safe. Check it out, chat. First things first, I'm the realist. What do you mean? I had nothing. What did you hear? I don't want that. What I want is a sword. Look at my strong sword. And now we can do a little pickaxe. And that will get me through the night. This is what we need. Okay, we're doing good. And now we put some meat in there. Give me some meat. Such a fun voice to do. It's just in the back of the throat. You can do it too, chat. All you have to do is try a little bit. Try and you can nail that voice so easy. It's not difficult. Okay, so what will I make? What do I have for armor right now? Okay, 3 armor. And this is how much armor? 6 armor. That doubles it. Of course, we take that. We do this. We do this. Perfection. That is 4 minutes from 2.5 hours. Oh, look at that. Look how good we're doing.
Ricky's hungry. Who's Ricky? I need some money for food. Well, I guess. What are you telling me this for? Do you want me to give you some money? I have no money. Scheiß. Scheiß. Hast du ihn gesehen? Okay, was ist hier? Was ist hier? Careful. Oh, okay. I give Ricky food. You can have money for Ricky. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I am so scared. I'm hoping to find some food here or something. Iron, that will work. Okay. Don't be scared, be a bit. Oh, there's a hole! Your daughter sniffed me? What is wrong with me? Why is she not impressed? Is the basement. Oh yeah, we got the cat in the basement. The cat enters the basement now. I have the stupidest idea, chat. There's no way this is a good idea. No, I've ruined it already. I have ruined it. Okay. So what I need right now to make this work is I could get dirt and I have water already. So if I can find dirt, we can grow food down here. And then I just stay here until I have enough food, until I can heal, and then we leave. Because right now, one hit from pretty much anything will kill me, yeah? But I have no dirt. Because I left the dirt in the new house. And I guess I have the voice, yeah. So, you know. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I mean, look, we'll find something. And I don't think you can grow with this stuff. Can I grow with this? What is this? What's tough? Let's find out. It's a rock? Okay, never mind then. You've missed me stuck in a cave. I need dirt. I don't... Oh my god. Shut up. I knew I had some... Clink. Hey, before you insult me. That is insane. What do you mean I'm so stinky your daughter's taking a bath? Did she say this? Why am I getting bullied by your daughter? I'm not stinky!
All right. Okay, now here's the real problem. Here's the real problem, chat. My seed isn't in the bag because I already unpacked it from earlier. So that means it's in the closet. So that means I can't really... Yeah. Well, I tried. Back to the original plan. Nope, I put it in the, I left it in the new house. I know, I have a seedless sack. Okay, 1 second. I have an idea. You ready for a dumb idea, chat? You ready for the stupidest idea I've ever had? Chat, we're going cave diving. Oh, Calypso, thank you for the slab! No, keep your friend here. Let your friend stay. Please, please leave your friend here for me. I mean, why would you make your friend leave? Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot about that. You can't actually escape. Oh, God, I didn't know I would ever enjoy having somebody else commit violence on my behalf. Hi, Arctic, what's up? We're almost there. I think it's so funny that different voices do for different people, you know? Because, I mean, some of you I need to get lower, more gravelly. And that's what you want. You want something a little bit more commanding. Other of you like the sweet and cute ones. All right. Jamal? What do you mean, Jamal? Wasn't planning on it. I have no seed. What the fuck, man? All I have is sugar and a single mushroom. Can you make anything with mushroom? Can I make anything with mushroom? I know, Ocean. Ocean, you're asexual, aren't you? Okay, but like, can I? Don't you need like you need a red and? I do have wood. I have stick. I have stick. Why? Why would I need wood? Shit. No, but you need 2 different color mushrooms, right? You need the red and you need the, Yeah, but you need red and you need brown. You can't just do brown. Doesn't help me anyways. You know what we did get, though? You know what we did get, though? You know what we did get, though? Stick and string. Shit. Is that what you wanted? Why do you give into this? You know what she's gonna do? You're like, hey, before I do this, she's gonna hit me. You know she's gonna hit you. Why would you allow? Oh, Boka's just masochistic. Understood. Got it. I get it. I am. Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bumper's shaped like a deer. DUI. Now how about you die? Drive 100 miles an hour. Hey, Praline, what's up? Little did you know I've saved up on gas. I'm gonna run over your tissue desk. Cock? Cock. What about cock? I've saved myself. Cock. Welcome to the cum zone. Anyways, hi. How you doing, Praline? What's up? Come on, give me it to me. Gimme. I need food. Okay, give it to me. Yoink. Yes. That should be enough, actually. No. Thank you for the... Wait, did it work? No! I think text-to-speech is broken. I do apologize for that. How did you even find the text-to-speech? You heard it? Wait, I can't hear it. Y'all can hear it? No, it doesn't come through me at all. Interesting. Shush. I'll fight you, Arctics. Arctic. Here you go. Well, chat, I found a way to be stable down here. I think it's funny I brought all those animals down. I have everything I needed to make a farm. Everything is home. Everything is at my home. So we're going to be stuck down here for a while, and I'm just going to have to fish. Shit. Well, I mean, I'm going to make enough food, and then we can go back in the mines, and then maybe I can find seed there. And then maybe I'll come back here and just, you know... Y'all and your seed, Jesus. What do you want me to say? Plant seeds? Don't buy my eels. Power's doing a Stardew style of a game? That'd be fun. All right. Hmm. I mean, look how much bone we have. We've got plenty of bone. Good apes. Fine. You know what? You're probably right. I probably do need to go to apes. Let me get one more fish, then we're good. God damn it, Neeks. That's so stupid. Give me good fish. Give me good fish. Give me good fish. I like horror games. I like story games. I like games that the mechanics serve the plot. I hate games that are just, you know, gamified games. That's why I wasn't a big fan of the new Silent Hill game, because like a lot of the puzzles just seemed there to slow things down and be a puzzle game. What did chat here? Come on. What, gamified games? Is that what you're talking about? I have a point by that. You peed yourself. How dare you? Okay. I can't believe you peed yourself. That's crazy. Was it okay? Yeah. You're kidding. I need my cows. My cows. I need my cows. I'll make life so much easier if I just have my cows. It's true. I don't take DMs. But people can always join my Discord and message me in Discord. Unless there is something going on and people need support, I am always there to help out people. But yeah. What, that I have a Discord? I do have a Discord. No DMing Gene. Where is my trapdoors? Chat, who took my trapdoors? Oh, I took my trapdoors. It's fine. Don't call me a goob. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I messed up. Da 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 da. Goober Uner. I want to listen to Death Grips. Come on! Oh, come on! Why is this so hard? Ah! There it is. Oh, does she? Nice. All right. I love this. Oh, shit. Yes. Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. Look how cool this is. Because we got my secret path to here. I did not. Oh, wow. 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 Rude. 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 Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Through the mountain. Tunnel. You did what you had to do. I believe it. I don't believe it, actually. I think you're a liar. God, why are you such a liar? You wouldn't lie to me, would you? Me, of all people. The last person you should lie to. But you know that, don't you? I don't know what I'm talking about, chat. I'm just making noises at this point. Go away, creeper! Enjoy your studies. We're about to end stream soon anyways. Sorry. Is it time for bed? It's almost time for bed. Everybody's like, Gene, go to bed. Not a cat. I can't spell. I can't spell either. I can only magic. I'm not a speller, chat. I'm not a wordsmith. I'm not a word man. Well, it's not time for bed. I actually need to go make some content. What do I do? Damn it. What do I do for my content? Because people are seeing things and I need to... doing a thing. I have to make a TikTok every day. I can make a bunch all at once, but I haven't been able to think of things to do. Because my D&D came to an end, so I can't really talk about the D&D anymore.
Is that a log? Is that a full-ass log?
Ah, yeah. What the fuck noise was that? Ellie does not lie, I can confirm. Oh, fair enough. What's up? You could do a joke about VTubers you want to boop? No. The only VTuber I want to boop. I actually don't think there's any VTubers I'd like to boop. All right, anyways, it's time to go to bed. It's yourself? No. So I'm not boopable? No, I will not boop anybody. I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. I don't boop anybody anymore. Whoosh, hello, kitten. Hello, kitten. Sleep well. The history of YouTubing. Did you all know the term wait. Do you all know about the term graduation? Do y'all know where the term graduation comes from? And it's so stupid. There was a band, a pop idol group, that was like high school based. And so whenever people, like the people were supposed to be young. And so whenever people would like age out, they would say that the person graduated because, you know, they were too old for it. And as time went on, with you know, like K-pop and all that stuff, and VTubers coming out of the idol scene, they started using the term graduated as a term to be like, hey, like it's a celebration, they're no longer going to be part of whatever. But that has now become a term of sadness for people because they're like, now I'm going to leave behind VTubing, which it shouldn't have been. It should have been like a celebration because you graduate. If you're quitting VTubing, you're quitting VTubing. You're not graduating. The idea is that you graduate and move on to bigger and better things. Not that you just stop because you lost the energy or the feeling for it, you know? But yeah. Okay, so who was the person that you wanted me to raid, by the way? Neeks? Oh, Envy's streaming Dark Souls. All right, Dark Souls if you don't tell me who they are. Hurry up. Hurry up, Neeks. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4... 3. It doesn't start for like 3 minutes. Oh, well, it's 1 minute off 7. So he doesn't get rated. I tried. Let's raid an Envy. When eventually you do the face reveal, will you continue? Oh yeah, no, I will always VTube. I will always be a VTuber. The face reveal is exclusively so that I can post IRL shit. Because so actually no, chat. Let's talk about that real quick. So the only reason I want to do a face reveal at all is because I want to physically go to like TwitchCon and stuff. And like if I ever want to do like a proper meet and greet, I mean maybe I can just do like the iPad kind of stuff. But the always thought has been like I kind of want to physically go to TwitchCon, physically meet people, and be able to actually like really hug people. So if I do a face reveal when I hit partner, because I want to go to TwitchCon when I hit partner. I've heard it's awful to go as an affiliate. Like people do kind of view affiliate as a lot lower, which I get it. Okay. Like I understand, like, because if you are anybody can get Twitch affiliate. Any single person here could get Twitch affiliate. But somebody who has partnered has put in the time and effort to accumulate an actual community and can show that they're proven like streamers. Like, and there's some affiliates out there who are amazing, who are some of the greatest streamers I've ever met, who are only not like bigger because they don't have the time, they don't have the money, or just because they haven't had the luck. But a lot of affiliates out there, especially the ones that have to kind of like force themselves to get affiliate, are just they don't know what they're doing yet. They haven't really learned how to be the content creator that they want to be or should be. Hence why I understand, like, yeah, big time companies are not going to come to you as an affiliate because why would they? And the thing is, they have to assume, like, there are so many affiliates, and most affiliates probably don't break like a 5 viewer average. Because starting on time is difficult. No. Sorry, I'm also playing Minecraft right now, and you all don't see what's happening, but I almost killed myself. It's fine. Okay. Are they there yet? If not, I'm going to raid Envy. I am starting to feel EPs, and I do need to make some... I know. There we go. Alright. I'll go right in. Yombi... Honey, are you sure that's the right name? Are you 100% sure the name's correct and there's no issue? That's also not how you spell his name. It's Mirai. Alright. Bye, Boku. Alright, so they're not going? Fine. Then we're raiding a femboy. We're gonna go raid the femboy. The femboy call girl? Have y'all ever seen this person? Helmine Lynx. We're not raiding Iron Mouse. Okay, go say hi. And there, copy the raid message. Y'all be good. I love y'all so very, 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 very much. I'll see you all next time. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, we're starting the October shiz. We're starting October, which means we are doing Edgar Allan Poe readings happening tomorrow for ASMR stream. I'm going to lube up my throat. Bye, everybody. Mwah.